Hello and welcome to Ethereal Gaming. We're here today with another video from World of Tanks, and we will be looking at the Centurion 7-1. Now, I've been playing this tank quite a lot over the last few days, grinding up the British medium tech tree line, and that is because it is top of the tree, so making the most of those XP bonuses and all the other bonuses you get when a tank is on the top of the tree for the month. So recently I was able to get the top gun in the tank, the tier 10 105mm gun, and oh boy, for me did it change this tank. And while the previous gun had a great rate of fire, this one is not far behind. But the improvement in the alpha damage, the improvement in the penetration of the normal rounds, and that is one of the different things about this, is that it does have really good normal rounds with 268 average penetration, 390 alpha damage with those normal rounds, but its premium rounds are HESH, and with that they have lower penetration than the normal rounds, which is rather unusual, but bigger alpha damage. And then the normal HE rounds, which have significantly lower penetration with the larger alpha damage. So what I do tend to find in this tank is that even when I'm significantly up tiered and against those really tough targets, is actually I'm not using those gold rounds as much, and I found actually overall this tank is not too bad in terms of coming out with a positive credit ratio compared to some of my other tier 9s. So like the T10, you find yourself using gold rounds quite a lot because they have nearly 100mm more penetration. So I've had a great time playing the Centurion 7-1. It is a great tank. I've been using vents, vertical stabs and rammer. It's by no means the best tier 9 medium tank out there, but I have certainly enjoyed playing it. It's not the fastest, it's not the most mobile, but it's pretty good at a ridgeline, and I do really like the gun. Dispersion 0.31 at 100 meters, 2.21 aiming time, so it does have a really nice gun on the tank, and overall I felt that it worked with my style of gameplay, and that's something to remember as well, is that everybody has a different style of gameplay and they have to find the tanks that suit them, and I've certainly had some great games in this tank. However, I'm going to show you some gameplay that in reality, again, could be any tank playing it, but for me it was playing the Centurion 7-1. It was my first game with the 105 gun on the Centurion, and really what this game is showing is about that sometimes in World of Tanks, patience and cautious play can actually win you the game, and I think that is one of the outstanding factors or different factors of World of Tanks compared to a lot of other shooting games, is that it's not always just about being really aggressive, really fast gameplay, constant action. Sometimes considered, patient, cautious approach can actually win the game. Maybe it didn't win the game in the best way, but we're trying to win the game in the best way that we know. So let's jump into that game and see what happened. Okay, so here we are on mines in our Centurion 7-1. We are in a tier 9 and 10 match. There are 5 tier 10s on each team, and the rest are tier 9s. So as we just start into the game, the first thing I'm thinking about is we need to capture the hill. Often the team that has the hill does win the match. Not always, but most of the time. Now, the one thing with the Centurion 7-1 is I know that I am not fast enough to get to that hill without taking some damage. So I can see there are much faster tanks going for the hill. So what I'm looking to do is to provide them that fire support so that they can actually win the hill. And we do get a shot on the Leopard, and we're waiting for the reload, and of course the reload is that bit slower with the 105, but we do manage to get 2 hits for 800 damage for those mediums racing for the hill, and the Char Future and the M60 have been able to secure the hill with that 121B just being finished off. Now, this is not a bad position for the Centurion 7-1 here. We are now able to get shots on those heavies looking to challenge on the hill. So there's the first shot into the AE phase 1, and often people don't focus on this side of the slope at first until they take a couple of hits. We've now managed to get 2 shots on that AE phase 1, and he didn't even turn the turret to look at us, so that was certainly a good start to the game. But this is often what happens on this map, is it slowly starts to grind to a halt. So we bounced off the 277 and then took a shot back from the Super Conqueror, so that wasn't the best of trades. And that Super Conqueror very much aware of my position, and that is certainly a dangerous tank, and I don't have a really good hold down location, and I'm trying to shoot the weak spot on the top of his turret, but it's very difficult when trying to snapshot it, even with this tank. So again, looking for those turret hits, and again a really bad trade from me. The Super Conqueror is on target and he takes my ammo rack, and I'm down to half my hit points with only 2 minutes gone in the game. But the 277 is down, and we're now very much in the typical mines stalemate. In we have the hill, but it's very difficult to push from there. The CS63 and Leopard hold essentially that sort of island out in the west, and the T10 and IS3 are battling it out in the east, but nobody is really able to push forward and make any further advances at this time. And we're now going to try and essentially grind each other into dog meat, while trading hit points and looking to try and get the best trades that we can. So far I haven't made great trades in those last couple of shots, so what's happened now is I'm now playing much more cautiously. I do need to save some of those hit points for later in the game, and what I'm actually looking at is I'm trying to look at the Super Conqueror and see where he's pointing his turret, because it will be much more difficult for him to turn and snapshot me. You can see there he gets to turn his turret towards me, but he will have a reasonable bloom on his reticle and can't just make that snapshot unless he gets lucky. So what I'm trying to do now is wait for him to expose his weak areas while also not looking at me, so that I can get a shot off and get back into cover without being hit. So now we are into our cautious, patient gameplay. We're aware of the CS63 has been killed on the island next to the Leopard PTA, and there's now a WZ 111-14 on there with that Leopard, but I can see there's a 110 E3 at the back who can provide him that fire support at the moment. So my focus is very much on the Super Conqueror, and for me he is one of the most dangerous tanks that's currently on the battlefield, so removing him would be a huge bonus. So we're still waiting for him. As you can see, he keeps looking in our direction. He's waiting for me to peek out round the corner, but we've got good vision on him and we can see exactly what he's doing, and that's always something to look at. If you can get your camera in a view where you can see that enemy tank, see where his turret's facing, it can really give you that trigger to pop out and make a shot when he's not looking. And there we go, the phase 1 has been killed by our tank destroyer, because in the east they have been able now to advance and they're pushing round, and at this point I'm thinking we might be down 2,000 hit points, but that push in the east, that's going to leave us in a good position. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come around and see if I can help out our Leopard PTA, but I make a quick shot at the WZ 111 and it bounces off, and I've lost my chance to help our Leopard PTA, who's only on 91 hit points and in a very bad position. But the Leopard is continuing to be quite aggressive, even though his turret armour is weak, and he's still keeping sight on the WZ. Are we able to get another shot off? No, he doesn't come forward enough, so we're sat here trying to get another shot, but the WZ is not playing ball. A smart player, he knows where he got a shot from, and there's nothing we can do about it. That Leopard continued to move around in that position, and I'm seeing if he can reveal. And oh look, there is the RU-251. He's been revealed. I get a shot off and manage to put some damage onto that light tank. So we're seeing if that RU-251 will come round again. He does not, and no surprises there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn my attention back to Super Conqueror, because I notice he's pushed up quite far, which means he will have to reveal his vulnerable spots as he goes back, and we get a shot into his hull for 375 damage and a critical hit, and that currently puts us on 2,200 damage for the game. So we are making some games. The hit points between teams are equal. This is still very much an equal battle, and a reckless move now and a loss of any one of our tanks could cost us the game. So now really is the time where patience and caution can make that difference. And that RU-251 is moving around and trying to get the shot on the Leopard. We were able to come back and finish him off. So that is a light tank out of the game, but we lose our Leopard in return, and that whole island is open with just the T110 E3 provided support. But the Conqueror made the same move. He pushed up, he got aggressive again, and that allowed me to get another shot into his hull, taking him down to 213 hit points. And we've now just lost our IS-7 as well, and the tanks that pushed in from the east are starting to grind into a halt. They are starting to take damage and casualties, and it looks like that eastern push is starting to falter. The 114 and the M60 on the hill are trying to provide cover where they can, and as you can see there, they managed to finish off the 110E4, but our tank destroyer is killed in return. So it is currently 5 tanks to 4. We're 500 hit points down, and we're looking to see if we can provide any more fire support. The game still hangs in the balance, but at the moment I'm sat here thinking we're now over 7 minutes in this location. I'm thinking we might well have made the best of we can at this location, and that we can't achieve any more here. It actually worked out for us staying in this location for quite some time. As you saw, we managed to get some hits, and we defended the middle and protected our folks on the hill. But now it's time to move and do something different, change it up, change the tactics, and see if we can influence the gameplay. So I'm coming back as far as I can, because the one thing I don't want to happen here is I don't want to be spotted relocating, which will give me the element of surprise on the enemy team. I'm expecting the WZ-111 to still be up here. I'm concerned that the Leopard PTA might be looking across the water, but I'm not spotted, and I'm able to push up onto the island area, and I'm looking to see if that Leopard's there. We don't spot him, so we're coming as far over as we can to try and make the most of distance and the terrain to hide ourselves as possible, and we're able to push up onto the hill, and still no spotting on the WZ-111. So I'm sat here thinking, where is he? But there's a WZ-114. We wait to be fully aimed in, we get the shot, and we're now able to put some damage in him. He didn't look like he moved after the shot, after he took the damage, so I'm waiting for a reload. I'm going to fire another shot in the same location, and maybe I will do some more damage. We will see. So there's the WZ-111. So he didn't actually poke around the corner. He was hidden by the rock. We managed to get a shot in the back of him, and that's certainly helped us. But the Leopard PTA now has won the hill. We're down to 3 tanks. The Object 263 is moving back in his location, and I'm in a one-on-one duel with WZ-111. It's looking like a tricky position, and oh my god, I rushed my shot. I should have been more patient. I rushed it, and I make a terrible shot. But I do know here that I have the reload advantage, and we're able to finish off the WZ-111. That was a tough battle with a bad mistake from me, but it looks like we have got away with it. But we have 500 hit points left, and if we look at the WZ-114 and the T-30 on the enemy team, any one of those tanks can one-shot me. So I now need to be cautious. What I need to do is try and provide some intelligence and spotting to my team. But the 263, who's got most of his hit points left, is now going onto the hill, and is looking to challenge the hill there and to see if he can kill that Leopard PTA, which he should be able to, given his tank and how much HP the Leopard had. As he's going around, but the 110E3 is still in that same location, and at this point he potentially should have moved up to support, and it looks like he now is moving up to support, which is going to be very, very helpful for us indeed. Now I'm expecting that T-30 to be in that same location. He's been there the whole game. I'm expecting him to still be there. So I'm just going to put a shot into bushes there. It wasn't the best of shots. It did dip to the bottom of the reticle and fell a little short, but I do have to pull back in case it gave away my location. But there's the leopard PTA, and it looks like he's popped out. We have to fire quickly while he's exposed. We managed to get a shot into him, and he's now down to being one-shottable from any one of our tanks. But the WZ-114's pushed onto the hill, and he's looking to challenge our object 263. But the 110 E3 is coming to support, so I'm relatively happy to stay where I am now to see if I can get some shots in the flank. Maybe that leopard will expose himself again, so let's see what we can do. But that WZ-114, he's too far up and I can't get a shot, so I'm now hoping that the 110 E3 can push up and help our object. And the leopard has also pushed up now out of range, so now I'm sat thinking, I can't support those guys anymore. That object 263 is in a lot of trouble. Can he survive? I'm not sure. He manages to kill the leopard, but he's now under huge pressure from the WZ. The problem with tank destroyers is, of course, it's very easy to flank them if they don't have a turret, and I'm concerned the WZ is going to lock down the 263 and try and stop him from turning and flank him. So I'm coming round. I want to make sure that that between us we can actually kill the 114, so I'm actually coming back to support. But it looks like between both the 110 E3 and the object, they're able to kill off the 263. So there's one tank left, there's three of us, and there's only one T30 left. Surely it is an easy win, but we are all a one shot from that T30, and this is where I've actually seen many games get lost, which is where you get overconfident, where you've got more tanks than the enemy team, and you just rush in thinking to get some kills and damage, and you end up dying. And there we go, we spot the T30 where he was, and because we played a little bit cautiously, we didn't run in, we used our turret, we actually managed to bounce a premium round from the T30. Unfortunately we didn't kill him, but we did manage to put 2 rounds down range, and we know where he is and my team know where he is. So the 110 E3 has moved into a position on the hill where he's got a good firing line into that area. The timer has gone, we're now coming down to the wire, but 2 minutes is still a reasonable amount of time given we know where the last tank is and we know the distances involved, and I can see the 263 making progress. I'm trying to peek over the top using my turret just to see if I can spot him again, and I can't. And now I'm looking at the timer. I'm constantly looking at the timer thinking, how long do I have to make my move? Where are my team to support so that we go together? And let's go together. So now I can see 263 is closing. I'm moving as well, and we're now going all together. I'm keeping the reticle on the area where I know the tank to be. The 263 lights him up, and the 110 E3 manages to finish him off, and we finish the game with 5,300 combined, which is 4,500 damage, 800 assistance, with 50 seconds left on the clock. And I think that is a good example of a game, and not uncommon for Mines or Prokhorovka, where a bit of patience, a bit of caution, playing smart, trading effectively can make all the difference in the game, right up to the end, where instead of going in one by one and losing one tank and it becoming, instead of a 3 against 1, a 2 against 1, which then could be a 1 against 1 and then maybe even a loss, we actually went together, we supported each other, and we won the game. Let's jump back to the garage. So here we are back in the garage, fresh from the victory with our Centurion 7-1, our first game with the 10 tier gun, the 105. As I said, the real meaning behind the gameplay we've just seen is it can be done in any tank, is that sometimes that patient, cautious play can pay off. It certainly does help with the gun that I had on this tank, and it has certainly changed the gameplay on this tank for me. And if we'd have been using a higher rate of fire but lower alpha damage gun, it might have been a different case. But certainly I think if you do have larger alpha damage, that patient gameplay, the considered shot, does make more of an impact. If you lose half your hit points, you suddenly start to reevaluate what you're doing and potentially slow down and pause. But certainly in that gameplay and in World of Tanks overall, there are many occasions when patience, teamwork, being very aware of the map and the time and making those cautious and considered plays can make more of a difference than just rushing in for the all-out action. And again, that's what makes this game great for me and sets it apart from many other sort of action shooting type games. So as always, thank you all very much for your support, both on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook and YouTube. Please, if you like the content I'm providing, please like and follow and subscribe. If you like this video, then give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. But please, if you didn't like it or there's something you didn't like, please let me know why, because the only way I'm going to improve is if you tell me what I did wrong. So thanks very much. You've been watching Attribution Gaming. I'll see you on the battlefield.